So I would like to, and it is my pleasure to, introduce our keynote speaker for today, day one. It's my pleasure to introduce day one keynote speaker, Mr. Joe Dale. He's been sitting, listening, coming in from the UK. He is the tech-savvy language aficionado from the UK. He's known as the MFL, Modern Foreign Language Guru, the man behind the hashtag MFL Twitterati. Joe has a knack, and I'm sure many of you have heard of him, many of you have seen him, many of you have probably been to some of his webinars. He's got a real knack of bringing language learning and technology together. He sparks excitement in classrooms from Europe to Australasia. He's been hosting the TES MFL forum for 6 years, and he also collaborates with big names like Microsoft, The Guardian, and even the BBC. Joe is the guy you want on speed dial for all things languages and tech. He is the man. Joe is no stranger to social media. His Facebook group, Language Teaching with AI, has already thousands of members, including me, and I'm sure many of you here as well. It's a lot of language teachers that are getting their fix thanks to him. So if you're ready to dive into the future of language teaching with a sprinkle of tech wizardry, Joe is your man. It's my absolute pleasure to introduce him very late at night from the UK. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Joe Dale.
What a lovely introduction. Thank you so much. Can I just check, can you all hear me? Yeah? Can you hear me? Fantastic. Okay. Well, thank you so much for that lovely introduction. It is 10:30 in the evening here. So I'm speaking to you from the past, but I'm going to try and talk to you about the future. As you can see, my talk is AI-enhanced Japanese personalizing the learning journey. So I'm going to be focusing on artificial intelligence ideas. It's going to be a very practical keynote. I'm going to be doing everything live. So fingers crossed, more or less everything works. We'll see how we get on. My social media contacts, my email address, etc., are on the screen, as you can see. The Facebook group's been mentioned already, Language Teaching with AI, my YouTube channel, youtube.com/@JoeDale. I'm Joe Dale on Twitter X and JoeDale100 on LinkedIn. If I give you a little bit of background about myself before I start, first of all, I'd just like to say what an honor it is to give this keynote speech at the 6th National Symposium on the first day. I have been to Australia many times in recent years, the last time being 2018, the first time being 2012. So I would have loved to have been with you face to face, but it just wasn't possible. But because of the power of technology, I can beam in from the UK to your fantastic and amazing conference that we've just all been hearing about. So my background is I'm a former languages teacher. I taught French for 13 years, 3 years at secondary school level, and then 10 years at middle school level, working with 9 to 13-year-olds. So I've got upper primary and secondary school experience. For the last 15 years now, I've been an independent languages consultant. As has been said, I've traveled all over the world, and I've run training and spoken at conferences in places like Australia, New Zealand, North America, South America, the Middle East, and all over Europe. But as a result of the pandemic and Brexit, I tend to do most of my work online. Case in point today. And as you can imagine, the last couple of years, the big trend has been around artificial intelligence. And so I've been all over that, trying to find ways in which it can be used in education, but particularly in language education. And clearly today, we're going to be focusing on how we can use AI for Japanese language education. So I can't wait to see what you all think of these different ideas, and we'll make a start if that's okay. So to start off with, I thought it would be a useful idea to ask you, how AI savvy are you? So I'm going to use a tool called Direct Poll, which I've only used a couple of times before, a little bit like Mentimeter, but I was getting a bit sick of Mentimeter, so I thought I would use this one instead. And the idea is that I want you to, in a moment when I give you the QR code and the short URL, I'd like you to tell me how AI savvy you are in relation to these different numbers. So if you feel that you are new to AI with no prior experience using these tools, then put a 1. Number 2, have basic knowledge and have experimented with some AI tools. Maybe you've made some lesson plans or made some resources using ChatGPT, for example. 3, frequently use AI tools for tasks such as lesson planning and resource creation. 4, integrating AI tools seamlessly into teaching with strong prompt engineering skills. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to come out of my presentation. I'm going to go into this tab here, and I would like you to scan this right now, please, or go to the URL on your device. If you have a device, if you have a phone or what have you, I'm going to do this as well on my iPad, just make sure it's all working. So there we are. And what you should see is your presenter will start the poll. Please stay tuned. So hopefully everyone has accessed the poll. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to another tab, which I've got open here, which is called the cockpit part of direct poll. And I press start like that. And now you can see all the different questions. So could you answer if you're a 1, a 2, a 3, or a 4? And obviously now I can get an impression of how AI savvy the group that I'm speaking to right now are. So as I was expecting, most of you are 2s. No one's brave enough to say they're a 4. And a few of you are newbies, which is fine as well. So if you haven't seen this before, it's a really nice way of creating a poll. It takes a minute, let's say, just a question of putting in the questions and then pressing play, sharing the link as I showed to you, and then joining the session like that. So one person, or in relation to the number of people in the room, we've got 56 votes so far. A couple of you have said that you regard yourself as a 4. So that's lovely. That gives me an idea of how to pitch this session. So thank you so much, everyone, for doing that. That's wonderful. And we're going to go back into the slideshow like this. I'm going to be constantly coming out of the slideshow and doing all these things live. So as I said, hopefully it will all work. Here's another QR code for you, as well as a short URL. I'm going to use Padlet in this session as a back channel. In other words, a place for you to add your comments, add your reflections, add pictures. If you want to, you can record your voice as well. I've set it up to work in that way. So again, if you could scan that QR code or go to that short URL, please, that would be great. And then in a moment, I will show you how this all works. So I'll just give you a few moments to do this. So just go to padlet.com/jodale/NSJLE or scan the QR code. Hopefully that's big enough for you to see in the auditorium. And you'll then notice a Padlet with the same background as my slide here. So I'm now going to move the Padlet across the screen like this. So this is what you should be seeing right now. And I've set it up so that you'll be able to leave comments. I'll just show you an example of what I'd like you to do, please. So all you have to do is either double click on the screen or click on the little icon here like this. And you can see that it says name, and then you've got 2 different options. You've got the microphone and the I can't draw feature. Now, the reason you've only got 2 here, for those people that are used to Padlet, you'll know that you would normally have many more options. And that's because what I've done is I've clicked on the cog option here. And then what you do is you go down to where it says post fields here, post fields, you click on that, and then you go to where it says attachment. And then from there, you can click on the none option. So normally by default, all of these are selected, but if you click on the none option, you can then choose the items that you want your students to see. So in this case, I want you to look at the audio recorder option and the I can't draw option. So as a result of that, it means that you can now leave comments either in with writing, with audio, or with images, which I thought could be quite fun. The other thing that I've done here is normally it says the word subject, but if I click on that, you can see I've changed the subject to name. So if you could write your name as well, that would be great. And let me demonstrate an example. So for example, if I were to double click on the screen like this, you can see it says name. So I could then write my name like this. And then let's imagine I want to click on this option, which is the I can't draw feature, which is an AI feature that Padlet have added recently. And we had a fantastic a phrase earlier, which was gymnastics of the brain. So I'm just going to write in gymnastics of the brain. I've got no idea what it's going to produce right now, but I'm excited to see. You then click on the arrow option here, and it should give us 2 or 4 images, and you can then choose the one that you like. So gymnastics of the brain. Let's see what happens when the results appear. There we are. Wow, look at that. I like this one, gymnastics of the brain. So I'm going to click on this one here, like that. And you'll see now it's going to come up. There we are. And then from there, you click publish. And there we are. So if you would like to put a picture based on how you're feeling as a reflection, if you want to write something, if you want to record something, you can see as well I've enabled commenting. So I can click here, for example, and I've also given you the option to add I can't draw as a comment, as well as recording your voice. If you wanted to record your voice, you would click here. And then you can see here, I could just record my voice. So I could say, for example, this is an interesting picture demonstrating the idea of gymnastics of the brain. And click playback and save, and then click save. Okay, so that was just an example bit of audio, but of course, if you want to record yourself, I appreciate you have people around you, but if you'd like to do that, you could certainly do that if you'd like to. There we are. So we've got Rowena, konnichiwa, Rowena, Victoria, and so on and so forth. Lovely. Okay, so I'm going to put this on my second screen, but I'm going to have it open the whole time. And so if you would like to leave a comment, it's going to appear in chronological order. Feel free to do so. Okay, so let's carry on. Okay, so what are we going to see today? What I thought I would do when I was given the remit of this about a year ago, I think it was, from Anne, was to look at very practical ways in which we can use AI in Japanese language education. So to begin with, we've seen already that most of you see yourself as a 2. In other words, you've dabbled a bit, you've maybe made a few resources, things like that. But I think it's important maybe to talk a little bit about some of the core principles. In other words, AI obviously refers to artificial intelligence, the idea that a machine can, if you like, replicate to a certain extent the way in which the human brain works, with neural pathways and working out logically what how to predict language, essentially. So the way in which AI works is one of the key terms is a large language model, which is a term which has been around since the 1950s. But for linguists, the fact it's a large language model is great news, because it's very good at writing different types of text. And the way that works is you have to input into the large language model huge data sets. So in the case of OpenAI, the company behind ChatGPT, they sort of publicly scraped content from the internet and they fed it into the large language model, and then you then ask a question or put in a prompt, as one says, and then it then searches its database for patterns in the prompt that you put into it. And if it finds patterns, it will then generate some sort of answer. If it doesn't find all the bits that it needs, it will make things up or hallucinate. And no doubt this evening it will hallucinate when I'm doing these things live. So the other thing which is really important to say is that most of the data which has been fed in, or a lot of the data that's been fed into large language models, has come from North America, and as a result of that, it is biased in that way. I think mnemonic, which stands for weird, is a useful mnemonic in this context. So weird standing for Western, educated, industrial, rich, and democratic. So in other words, when you ask AI to produce text or images or audio, etc., it certainly can be biased in that way. It can be inaccurate. You have to check everything for accuracy. I like the idea of the 80-20 rule. In other words, you ask the machine to do 80% of the work, but the 20% of the work, which means that you put that human spin on it, that you analyze everything critically, particularly in the case of Japanese, which apparently requires more tokens, as one says, for it to work. It may hallucinate more compared to other languages, simply because it requires more computational power to produce good examples, and no doubt again that will happen tonight as well, or this morning for you. So we need to just think about all that, and I think be patient in general with the AI. It's not going to be perfect. It will make mistakes, but with a bit of human ingenuity and analysis, I think we can really use it for the good, for reducing workload from the teacher point of view. And I'll be showing you some examples on how students can use AI as well, referring to age restrictions and AI policies and things like that as well. So in this keynote, we're going to be looking at transcription, comprehension, multimodal learning experiences, interactive conversational practice, immersive storytelling. I loved when Andrew was saying earlier about immersive experiences and cultural intelligence and promoting intercultural dimension. I'll be showing you some ideas around that live, real-time feedback and assessment, and then interactive and accessible learning materials as well. And then we'll do a bit of a conclusion as well after that. Okay, so let's carry on. And so in this session, I've talked a little bit about the opportunities. There are certainly some risks in relation to data security. We need to be careful not to put in personal data into a large language model, because everything we put into a large language model is sent to the company behind that large language model to train its bots. And so we have to just be careful not to put in certainly any data from students. We shouldn't be doing things like uploading Excel spreadsheets with student data in them for obvious reasons. We need to make sure that we adhere to the AI policy of our schools. I'm sure we all have AI policies now, considering that ChatGPT, for example, has been around since November 2022. We need to adhere to the countrywide policy to do with AI. I know Australia has rules and regulations about the use of AI, and I think they've been very progressive in general about AI adoption as well. I've talked again about the human expertise, the importance of the teacher's role, ethically and for saving time, but being critical, getting a range of ideas you can produce around cultural competence. Again, I'll be showing you some ideas around that today, and how we can use AI for promoting all 4 skills for Japanese: listening, speaking, reading, and writing. Again, I'm going to do this all live as well, so no pressure at all. Let's see how we get on. So let's start with our first tool. So the first tool is TurboScribe. So feel free to let me know in the chat if you know about TurboScribe, if it's something which is new to you, or if not. I use it on a regular basis, if not on a daily basis. In fact, I'm such a fan of it, I've actually paid for the full version, which is unlimited transcription, because I just find it incredibly useful. And I found an example of a YouTube clip from the Japan Foundation called Activate Your Japanese. And I'm going to just demonstrate some ideas now in relation to that. So this is the YouTube clip. And as you can,
皆さんこんにちは。
there we are. This is the YouTube clip. And first of all, what I was going to do was just show you, you may not realize that most YouTube clips now have transcripts automatically generated through AI. And to find those transcripts, what you do is you click on the More option here, like this. You then scroll down and you can see there it says Show Transcript. So you can click on the Show Transcript option here. And then you can go to the bottom of the transcript like this. And then you can then simply go up to the top. So select all the content like this. Okay. And then you can then right click that and click copy. So this is not using TurboScribe yet. I just want to show you this feature first of all. And then you can go into ChatGPT, which I've got here. And then you can see here, I've got a microphone, and that's because I'm using the Chrome extension called Voice Control for ChatGPT, which I'll just bring up quickly now. So it's called Voice Control for ChatGPT. And what's lovely about this tool is it allows you to use your voice in order to input your prompt, not only in English, but in a range of languages. So it saves you a lot of time, which is what this is all about in lots of ways. So for example, it does have Japanese as one of the options, you can see there. And so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to do the following prompt. I'm going to say, based on this transcript, write a 100-word summary describing what the YouTube clip is all about in B1 level English. So in other words, it will understand the CFR level sort of, and it will then be a guide for you to explain, because as I'm sure you know, I don't have any Japanese, so I need tools like this in order to understand. So why not use ChatGPT? So let's see what it's going to do right now. It's going to tell me, there we are. I thought this would be a good clip to choose. It's talking about Japanese onomatopoeia, and as you can see, how it can express feelings effectively. It looks at the example of, it says about being exhausted, which I think is well, I'm not going to try and pronounce it, but as you can see, there we are. So that is one example of how you can harness a transcript and then get a summary based on that transcript. But what about TurboScribe? So if we go to here and we click on the share option like this, and I click copy, that's all you need to do. And then I go into TurboScribe. What you can then do here is you can click on transcribe files like this, and you can then either click here and you can then add in an audio or video file, as long as it's in the right format. So as long as it is, for example, MP3, MP4, WAV, etc., then that will work. And you can, for free, this is the unlimited version, but for free, you can have up to 3 files per day and 30 minutes per file. So you can actually transcribe up to 90 minutes of content every single day. Now, if you click on the link option here, as you can see that you can paste in a YouTube clip, a Google Drive link, Facebook apparently. I've not done that with Facebook, but I have done it with YouTube and with Google Drive, and it works brilliantly. You then click import like that, and then what it does is it extracts the audio from the video clip, and then you just choose the language here. So you can see that Japanese is one of the options. And then you choose the transcription mode. So cheetah, dolphin, whale. I always go for whale, which is the most accurate. And then here you even have what's called speaker recognition. And this is very useful, I find, particularly for, say, dialogues or when you have more than one speaker. So I click on that little tick there. I click on this, and I normally go for detect automatically if you don't know how many speakers are in the video clip. You've also got the transcribe to English directly, and you've also got the restore audio option. So if the recording has been recorded in a noisy place like a classroom, for example, then you could potentially make it sound better by using TurboScribe and get a transcript of that recording. So once you're ready to go, you click transcribe, and then what's going to happen now is it's going to start transcribing. You can see that it's doing that right now. And so we'll just wait for it to do this. It won't take too long to do this. And then what will happen is, in a moment, we'll get the green circle appearing with a white tick in it. And then as a result of that, we'll be able to click on the title, and we'll be able to press play and then essentially go through the transcript and see how, if it's done a good job. It's normally very accurate, particularly if you choose the whale option. If there are any mistakes, you can click on the edit transcript option, which I'll show you in a second. And as a result of that, you are able to make any changes. Normally it works really, really well. The main issue can be around if the speaker is speaking very quickly, or possibly around proper nouns. But you'll be able to tell me in a second whether it's done a good job in transcribing this in Japanese. So if I click on this, you can see there we are. I don't know how easy it is to see the screen from where you're sitting, but you can see here that's transcribed the whole thing into Japanese, as you can see. And if I now press play, you'll see how it works.
皆さん、こんにちは。国際交流基金日本語国際センター、すみません。国際交流基金日本語国際センターの石山智之です。
Okay, you can then jump ahead if you wanted to. I could go here, for example.
このような手順を踏んだので、どれもコミュニケーションで使える。
Okay, you can go to where it says edit transcript like this. And if there's a mistake, then what you would do is you would say hover over a particular part, click on edit, and then you could then make correct the mistake that is there. Yeah. And then click Save Changes, of course. In addition to that, another feature I really like about this is the fact you actually have ChatGPT built in to the interface. So once you have made your edits, you can then click on the ChatGPT option. Another thing before we do that as well, can you see here it says Speaker 1, Speaker 2? You can actually click on the download docx option, which is to download this as a Word document, and then use the find and replace option to change all the speaker ones to the name of the actual person, all the speaker twos to the name of the actual person, etc. That's a really, really nice thing to do. And then upload the results into ChatGPT. Or you can go straight to ChatGPT from here. You click on here. It gives you these different options here. I normally go for custom prompt. So I click on custom prompt. And then from there, I could then, for example, say, based on this transcript, create 10 multiple, make sure I spell it correctly. It doesn't actually matter. ChatGPT will understand it. 10 multiple choice questions in, let's say, B1 level Japanese, include an answer key. Okay, and then from there, click generate ChatGPT prompt, click copy ChatGPT prompt, click open ChatGPT. Okay, from there, you'll then see ChatGPT open, and then you can just wait for that to load. And then once it's loaded, you can then, there we are, it's doing it right now. You can then right click and click paste, and then send it in, and it should now produce, there we are, it should now produce the multiple choice question. So it doesn't matter whatever video it is that you can choose. It obviously, ideally it'd be in Japanese, but it doesn't have to be in Japanese. It could be in another language, and then you could then make an activity in Japanese based on the video, based on the transcript. Now, in addition to that, what you could do is you could go back to here. You could copy this again. You could go back into ChatGPT, which is here, and you could say, create a QR code from this link. Okay, and then I'm going to there we are. The reason I had to stop speaking was because otherwise it would have carried on adding what I was saying into the this. So there we are. So now I can click on download QR code like this. There we are. I can now save it to my desktop. I can then upload it by clicking on the attach file option like this. There we are. And then I could say, create a worksheet with the name, the date, and the group at the top, the QR code underneath, and the 10 questions with a place for students to answer them. Do not include an answer key. There we are. We'll see what it does. It should do that right now. And then as a result of that, it will say analyzing, and then I can then ask it to convert that into a downloadable Word document, although maybe it's done that already. Let's see. Let's see what it's done. Yes, it is a Microsoft Word document. So I didn't even have to say that. It's done it for me automatically. But if you didn't know, even in the free version with 4.0, you can create downloadable Word documents, PowerPoints, and so on and so forth. Look at that. So you would probably need some editing, but you can see the sorts of things that you can do with any video. It doesn't have to be in Japanese, but you could turn this into Japanese, of course. I could then ask it to translate this into Japanese, etc., etc. So if you didn't know how to do that, you certainly do now. Again, feel free to put any comments in the chat if you'd like to around this. Okay, so that was TurboScribe for listening activities. You know, if you have the transcript, you can turn it into a listening activity really easily. The students could scan the QR code. They could then fill in the answers. We're going to have a look at a tool called Brisk later on, which can turn this into a Google quiz as well. Okay, so that was the first idea. The next idea is AudioPen. AudioPen is a brilliant tool, and it even works without you being logged in. So again, I'm just going to show you live how this works. So I'm going to go to AudioPen right now, which looks like this. While I'm doing that, I can see I've got a couple of questions. So Laura is saying, does TurboScribe have capacity for output in multiple languages in a single recording, i.e. generating a bilingual transcription? Sometimes, yes, it does that. When I put in a transcript which has English and French, sometimes it recognizes the French and it puts the French in, and sometimes it just doesn't, in which case I have to then go in and then add it manually. So yes and no, if that's okay. And there we are. Now, yeah, for the slowing down the audio, I'm not sure about that actually. I'm not sure whether it's possible. Let me just check. Yes, you can. Look, you click on the cog, you click speed, you can then change the speed. So yes, you can do that. And of course, you can do that live in YouTube as well. Now, this is now looking at speaking. So with AudioPen.ai, what you have to do is you have to go to settings, first of all, like this, and you choose the input language and the output language. This is completely free to use. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to choose English as my input language. But for my output language, I'm going to choose Japanese. So let me find the Japanese, which is there. And then having done that, I'm now going to explain how this works. So as you can see, I'm not logged in. If I were to be logged in, I could then save the notes that I've made, but I'm not logged in. So I'm going to click on the microphone here and I'm going to show you how this works. So, okay, so AudioPen.ai is a free tool which uses artificial intelligence. What you can do with it is you can choose the input language and the output language. And there's a whole range of different languages that you can choose, and the results are normally very accurate. So for example, you could choose the input language as English, as I'm doing right now, and I'm recording my unstructured thoughts. I'm giving you my reflections, and what it will then do, because of the fact that I've chosen Japanese as my output language, is it will make a summary in Japanese. So essentially what it does is it records my voice, it then transcribes my audio, and then it uses AI to make a summary. Not only that, it also will generate a transcript as well in the language that you've chosen as the input language. So the summary will be in the output language, the transcript will be in the input language. So as a teacher, you could use this as making quick mental notes by recording your voice, having them transcribed into written notes. If you had, say, a meeting with a colleague, with a student, with a parent, you could make a quick note of what you've been talking about. Students, as long as they're 13 or older and they have parental permission, they could use this as a way of practicing their pronunciation. So they could be choosing Japanese as the input language, they could be speaking Japanese, they could have the summary in Japanese, or they could be having the summary in English, and then they could be comparing if there's gaps in knowledge or mistakes that the AI has made based on the input. And as a result of that, I think this could be a very powerful productivity tool as well as a language learning tool for both teachers and for students. And let's see if it works. So I've now stopped recording. It's now uploading my audio, as you can see, and it's transcribing it. And now it's going to give us a summary in a second. Okay, so it's doing it right now. Literally today, I wrote in my Facebook group about the fact that there's now there we are, I'll just show you that on the screen. There's now an Android app for AudioPen. There's also an iOS app for AudioPen, which has been around for quite a long time now. There's a Chrome extension, and there's also the web version as well. So from here, hopefully that's done a good job. And you've also got the original transcript. So if I click on that, that will be in English, as you can see. There we are. And what I could do is I could click on the copy option, even without being logged in. I could then go to another tab. I could go to, say, Google Docs, like this. Just wait for that to load. And then I could then paste in the results, like that. Let's do that again. There we are. And now, as you can see, I've got the summary. And if I wanted to have the let's go here. If I wanted to go here, I could click on copy note and transcript, or just copy transcript. If I just click copy transcript, I could go back to the Google Doc, and then I could put in the transcript there. So again, you could put that into, say, CHBT, and then do other activities based on that that summary in Japanese. So it's a really exciting tool, and I've used this with people from a whole range of different countries, and it always does a very good job. So I'd love to know whether this has done a good job with Japanese. If it's clear and a good summary based on what I said, feel free to give me some feedback in the chat as well. So that was AudioPen for speaking. Okay, let's carry on. Right, the next tool we're going to look at is a well-known tool, Google Translate, but I'm going to show you something which maybe you haven't seen before. So in Google Translate, which looks like this, as you can see, I've got Japanese and I've got English here, and I'm just going to get rid of this. There we are. I'm going to clear saved. There we are. And you'll see here on the right hand side it says build your own phrasebook. This may be something that you've not seen before, and it's very exciting. And what you can then do is you can, for example, if I go into ChatGPT and I go to a new chat like this, I could say the following. I've actually got this prompt ready to go, which is, here we are, which is write 5 basic sentences in A1 level Japanese describing opinions about sports and leisure activities. So let's put that in and we'll see what it comes up with. So as you can see, we've got these different sentences, and I'm going to now copy the first one, go into Google Translate, and I'm going to paste it in like that. And I can listen back to it if I wanted to, like this.
サッカーが好きです。
Okay, as a model pronunciation. If I could speak Japanese, I could obviously dictate that as well. And the key here, the way that you build your phrases in your phrasebook is you click on this little save translation option like this. You do need to be logged into a Google account to do this, but you could be logged into multiple accounts, multiple devices with the same account. And whenever you're in a device, you could save phrases. I'm talking about students could save phrases into their phrasebook. So I can now click here. Can you see what's happened? It's now put that phrase into my phrasebook. Now I could then get rid of that, and I could put another one in like this. I could go to the next one, copy it in, okay, paste it in like that. Click the save translation option, do another one. I'll just do a few of these so you'll see how it works. So let's do the next one like this. Okay, then translates it. I then save it. Do a couple more. So what I love about this idea is it's great for encouraging independence with the students. They can just build up whichever phrases they particularly like. They can have their own personalized phrasebook as a result of that, and it's sentences or words or sounds that they particularly like or maybe find challenging and they want to add them. And there we are. So it's now going to do the last one. There we are. Jogging is a bit boring apparently. Okay, so there we are. So we've now harnessed the power of Google Translate for creating our own personalized phrasebook, but there's more because you've got this little icon here, which is this Google Sheet export. So you click on that like this, and you click import the data like this. So having clicked on import the data, what happens is it will make a brand new Google Sheet like this. Okay, and then I'll just make that a bit bigger so it's easy to see. There we are. And then what you can do is you can click on this first option, hold down Shift and click the bottom one, right click and click copy, and then you could go into a tool like Natural Readers like this. Okay, I could then go to the home page. I could choose the language by clicking on the drop down. Okay, so just go down to where it says Japanese. There it is. And then you get these different voices. Let's choose this one, this person.
ベンチに座って目の前に広がる大海原を眺めていると胸がいっぱい。
Okay, you then click Get Started for free. It then loads it up for you. There we are. And then there we are. There he is. And then you can get rid of the content which is there. And you can paste in what you've saved as a student in your personalized phrasebook. You don't even need an account for NaturalReader, it just works. So now I can make sure I'm click at the beginning and press play and then get a model pronunciation like this.
ジョギングはちょっとつまらないです。本を読むのが大好きです。水泳が上手じゃないです。テニスは楽しいです。サッカーが好きです。
Okay, and then you can click on the speed option and you can make it slower or faster. This particular tool doesn't allow you to download the results, but I'm going to show you, or it does as a paid version, but not in the free version. But I'm going to show you around that in a second. I can see we've got some questions. Does AudioPen have the ability to read the notes that it has made, or would the transcript need to be copied into a text-to-speech program? The latter. So you could use a tool like HelperBird. So in HelperBird, if I were to, let's see if I can do this right now. HelperBird is a Chrome extension which has immersive reader built in. So I can click on here, view an immersive reader. And I could then just press play like this, and it should give me a model pronunciation like this.
AudioPen.ai は無料の人工知能ツールです。使い方は入力言語と出力
And you can change the speed like this. You just make it slower or faster.
と出力言語を選ぶことで
You can change the voice from male to female and vice versa, etc. Will the Google Translate Phrasebook work in both the website and app versions? Haven't tried it in the app version, but as you can see, it definitely works in the web version. Okay, so we've just used NaturalReader. I'm now going to show you this tool, which, as you can see, this is an example I did earlier. So I'm just going to paste in the text here, like that. There's two options for Japanese voices. There's this one, Takumi and Mizuki. So if I wanted to use Mizuki, I would just click read.
ジョギングはちょっとつまらないです。本を読むのが大好きです。水泳が上手じゃないです。テニスは楽しいです。サッカーが好きです。
There we are. And then you can download the results as an MP3, whereas you can't do that in the free version of NaturalReader. But if you want to have a downloadable version, this is a nice solution. You click on this and then download the results like that. There we are. And then from here, it will then play again if you click on it like this.
ジョギングはちょっとつまらないです。
Okay, so that's a really nice way, I think, of modeling the language, having it as a downloadable file. The students can then listen to whichever phrases they're interested in, they want to learn based on what they've put into Google Translate and made their own phrase book. So really powerful, I think. Okay, that was that idea. So that was pronunciation practice using Google Translate, DTS MP3 and NaturalReader. Right, the next idea we're going to have a look at is called Mizu. I'd love to know in the chat if any of you have used this one already. This is a really exciting tool, I think. I'm just going to show you live right now. It allows you to make your own educational chatbot, which can certainly be useful for languages. And I'm going to demonstrate one right now. It is, according to the website, GDPR, COPPA and FERPA compliant. So that's why I'm recommending that it can be used in schools. The only personal identifiable information that students need to put in is just some sort of name, which could be a nickname, it could be a code, etc. If you go down on the home page, you can see there are chatbots which are popular within the community. There are examples which are perfect for high school, middle school, and even elementary school as well. I would make sure if the students were younger than 13 that you definitely have parental permission. And again, just check the privacy policy. But you can see here it says Mizu does not use chat data from students to train AI models. No login is required for students. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to create an example right now. So I'm going to click here, go to my account like this. Okay, and then I'm going to click on the build a chatbot option, which is wait for this to load. Okay, and I'm going to click here where it says AI generated. Okay, then what you have to do is you have to put in your prompt. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to right click and I've got one ready to go, which I called Mizu 1. And as you can see, it says you are a Japanese waiter in a Japanese restaurant. My students are working at A2 level Japanese and will order food and drink from you. Answer them in Japanese only, answer in short, simple sentences, always be kind and polite. I then choose the grade level. So I'm going to choose grade 8. And then I click get ideas. So the grades are American grades. You just have to work out the equivalent in your own context. You then get normally 3 different suggested chatbots. I'm going to go for this one, which is students practice with a C, because it's American English. Students practice ordering food in Japanese. The bot responds politely in simple sentences, enhancing conversational skills. So then you click generate. You then wait for it to start to load. There we are. And you can see now that the name of the chatbot is Sato, and we are going to get a picture of Sato in a minute. There we are. So we just wait for. There we are. So this has now come up. If you don't like this picture, you can click on the pencil tool, and you can put in instead a typical, whatever that means, a typical male Japanese waiter. Okay, and then you click generate. You could upload an image, but if you click upload image, then obviously you need to respect copyright. Any images which are created using AI at the moment anyway cannot be copyrighted, which is great news for creating educational content for lessons for unlocking speaking and for writing work in particular. So we'll just wait for Sato's picture to appear. There we are. And then from there, you click on the more options option, and you click, well, I normally click generate all fields like this, and then it will then create a welcome message. As you can see, it's got some groups rules. The knowledge file is a premium feature, which allows you to upload a PDF, which could be, for example, your exam spec. You've then got two voices, which is a bit limiting. I only have two. I'm going to choose John. And then you've got the thumbnail here describing the chatbot. And now I'm going to choose foreign languages. And then from there, I click publish. And I'm going to keep it private. If I make it public, it just means it could appear in the the title has got to be unique. So I'm going to put in Joe like that and click publish. So it's got to be a unique title, otherwise you'll get an error message. So there we are. So I'm now in the process of publishing it, and in no time at all we'll be able to see what it looks like. So from here, as you can see, you then click on the share option like this. You could share it with a colleague, but I just want to demonstrate what it would look like if you demonstrated this with a student. So you click on this and you click create, and then you click launch. You can preview it, but we don't have time to do that. So I'm going to click on the launch option here. Okay. Once it's launched, it will give us a URL and a QR code. And I'm going to copy that right now. There we are. There's the QR code. It's just coming up. I click copy. I'm now going to close that. And now, hopefully, yeah, there we are. I deliberately set this up so I could then show you live in an incognito window in Chrome, because you can't be using the same window because you'll be logged in as a teacher. So now I'm going to show you what this looks like. There we are, from the student point of view. So the only personal identifiable information you need to put in is a name, and of course you could put in a number, a code, a nickname, etc. So now I'm going to click on start session like this. Okay, it's going to open the session, and here we are. Now you have to tell me whether it's done. If the pronunciation is good. Let's have a listen.
いらっしゃいませ。日本のレストランへようこそ。何を注文されますか？お手伝いできることがあれば教えてください。
Okay, now I'm going to copy this. I'm going to right click, copy it. I'm then going to go back to here. I'm going to go to ChatGPT, and I'm going to go to a new chat. And then I'm going to put in the following prompt, which is Mizu2, which is, I'm having a conversation with the Japanese waiter, but I don't understand Japanese. Can you help me translate the Japanese into English? So I then paste in Japanese and I click send. And what it should do now, there we are. It's now giving me this. So it's saying, welcome, thank you for coming to the Japanese restaurant. What would you like to order? Okay, so I'm going to say the following. Hello, I would like some miso soup, please. I thought it would be appropriate as we're talking about miso. I know it's spelled differently, but let's put in S-O and let's put it in, and hopefully that, there we are. It's now translated that into Japanese. So I'm going to now copy that and paste it in. So I can paste it in, or I can use my voice, but because I can't speak Japanese, it would be silly to do that. But do check out the voice option, obviously. And now we're going to get an answer. And we'll see what Sato is going to say. Here we go. Oh.
こんにちは、ジョーさん。お味噌汁ですね。とても美味しい選択です。他に何かご注文なさいますか？例えば、ご飯やおかずはどうですか？
Okay, so I'll copy that. I'll put that in and see what he's just said. Okay, perfect. So you get the idea. And then once you've finished your conversation, you click end session like this. I normally click skip at this point. And the session is now ended. I then go back to here, go back to Mizu, and I then refresh the page like this. And now it should give me a grade. There we are. Wow, I've got an A grade. That's pretty good. So I now click on this. And if I had recorded my voice, I would be able to listen back to it here. But because I haven't recorded my voice, that's why it doesn't have a play button. But what it then does is it then uses the AI to then generate some feedback for me, which only the teacher sees. So it would be up to you if you wanted to show the students the transcript or the feedback. But from the point of view of transparency, you can see exactly what they've said, either recorded or what they've written, and you can see their feedback as well. So I just think it's fantastic. There are other chatbots out there. There's one for School AI that's been put into the chat, but I really like Mizu. I think it's fantastic. You know, in all the 20 or something years that I've been interested in educational technology, I think this is a really, really exciting new development. So do consider checking that one out. Okay, right. I'm now going to talk about cultural exploration. Again, I'm just going to do this live. So I'm going to go into ChatGPT, and I'm going to try and make a Google Earth tour in front of your very eyes. So I'm going to paste in the following, which is here, Google Earth project. Right. So it says, create the code for a KML file to be imported into Google Earth, describing 10 great places to visit in Tokyo at B1 level Japanese using the exact location. Create quiz questions for students to answer based on the descriptions you create. Add an answer key underneath. You must write all the code in one code block. It needs to end with /KML, which is the format that you need for Google Earth projects. Create a downloadable KML file. Okay, so let me send it in now. What it should now do is it should say analyzing. It will either make the file for me straight away, or it will show me what the code looks like. This can be a bit hit and miss, so I hope that it does work. I have got some backups to show you what it looks like, but I'm hoping I can do this live. Sometimes it takes a few iterations to get what you want, but this is normal that it's saying analyzing. So it will either produce the block code right now, or it will just make the downloadable file. So I'm hoping in a second. There we are. It's doing it. Yeah, it's done it. Okay, so I now click on this. Can you see download file? And there we are. And then I go into Google Earth, which I've got here. And then I'm going to, there we are. I'm just going, so this is what I did earlier. So I'm just going to come out of this and go to here. And I'm just going to delete this. So I've got a blank Google Earth. And then what you do is you click File, Import File to Project, Import or Upload from Device. And the one that I've just made was this one. These are the ones that definitely work. So let's hope this will work. I then click Open. And what should happen? Yeah, look, it's doing it. Phew. Right. Okay. So now you go to Slideshow. And now can you see we've got 12 places. Okay. So here, for example, if I click on here like this, you see that you've got the question there. So if I were to select that, right click it, click translate selection to English. I can see it's got, it is a landmark of Tokyo, the capital of Japan. It is the tower with a height of 333 meters. Enjoy wonderful views from the top. Okay. And then what I can then do if I wanted to is I could click on Street View and I could click here and then I could actually go into Street View and visit what it actually looks like, which is here. Look, it's like I'm actually there, isn't it? Yeah. And then you can then go to the next place like this. And this is all about, to me, cultural immersion. So again, I could go into Street View. I've got the questions for each one as the pop-up based on the prompt. And then having done that, what I could then do is I could then click here. And I could then say, show me the actual code. Okay, and then it should, there we are. It's now going to make the code for me. And once it's made the code, you can see here that I've got this icon here called Brisk Teaching. And Brisk Teaching, I've got open here. And this is a Chrome extension, which works with Google Drive. And what it allows you to do is it allows you to, well, it allows you to do lots of things, but I should be able to now click here on this little icon and click Quiz. And create a quiz about this web page. Okay, so I've got everything chosen. I've got Japanese, 9th grade, multiple choice, 10 questions, and I click next, and I choose new form and click Brisket. And what it's going to do right now is it's going to turn this code into a Google quiz, which is self-marking, and it's going to give me the title. It's going to give me the 10 questions, and it's going to work out the correct answer. There we are. Can you see? Look, it's done it all for me. like that, yeah? And so you'd have to obviously check it, the 2080 rule. You'd have to just check that the correct answer is the correct answer. It's also assigned 1 point as well, which is fantastic. And then you click send. You then click the link option. You click shorten URL. You can then share it with the students, and then away you go. That's how that one works. Now, the equivalent in Microsoft Forms, what you would do is go here. You would then click this again, click quiz, click next, click new doc this time, and click brisket. And then what's going to happen now is it's going to create a Google Doc with the same quiz items in it, hopefully. So we'll just wait for that to load. Again, if you have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat. But what it should do, yeah, it is doing it. It's generating, there we are, it's generating the quiz for me. And as long as they're in multiple choice, yeah, it looks like that's all fine. So I'll just wait for it to create this for me. And then what I would then do is use find and replace as a way of removing some of the elements. So I don't need necessarily this subtitle here. It's being a bit slow right now, but you get the idea. It's going to speed up in a second, I think. So for Microsoft quizzes, you need to make sure it's got the number, the question, and then the 4 multiple choice answers underneath. But we don't need those dashes. I'm going to get rid of those in a second. There we are. It's now done it. So I'm going to now get rid of this. I'm going to get rid of this. There we are. Like that. I'm going to go up to the top, get rid of the subtitle. I'm presuming this is the subtitle. I hope it is. There we are. And I'm just going to highlight this and then go to edit and find and replace and click replace all, which will just get rid of that. So it's all nicely formatted. There we are. And then here, I'm just going to click here to then give it a title. I now click File, Download, Microsoft Word. Okay. So you're downloading the Google Docs and Microsoft Word document. You then click Save. I then go into here, which is Microsoft Forms, and I click Quick Import like this. I then click Upload from this device. I choose the Word document, click Open. I choose Quiz, and it's now going to convert the Word document into a Microsoft quiz. The only difference between the Microsoft quiz version as opposed to the Google quiz version, I click Start Review, is that you have to tell it what the correct answer is. Look at that. It's all done it for me. And then I just click here, and then I work out, I think it's going to be this one based on the height. And then you click there and you allocate a point like that. And you do the same for all the others. You then click collect responses. You click anyone can respond. Shorten URL if you want to, copy the link as you do with the Google quiz. All the answers then appear in the form, and then you can export the results as an Excel spreadsheet or a Google sheet. So that's how you can use Brisk for the questions based on the Google tour. Okay. Padlet we've had a quick look at. I'm just going to show you an example of this. So if I quickly take this image here, there we are. Let's take, wow, that's a brilliant image. So I'm going to click on this one right now. And I'm going to click on the 3 dots there and click download attachment. Like this. I'm going to download the attachment like that, click save, and then I'm going to go to another tool which I've got open. Where is it? No, hang on, that's okay. I will click here because I can't see it right now. So I click here, and this is called the Image Accessibility Creator from Arizona State University. And what it does, if it's going to load, what it does is it allows you to upload an image like this, browse files, and it will then give me a written description. So I click on this, I save it, it uploads it like this. And then you click create image details like this. And then here, it's now going to analyze that picture, and it's going to give me a written description, which you can then copy, put it into ChatGPT, ask it to create you a worksheet in Japanese, for example. Look at that, based on the image. Okay, make sure that you upload images that you have the copyright for. So that's Image Accessibility Creator from Arizona State University. There we are. Really nice for harnessing images. And the Padlet.com, the I Can't Draw feature, which I've shown you already, is wonderful. This is the Brisk teaching, which I've just demonstrated. There's other things you can do with that, but creating Google quizzes and Microsoft quizzes is wonderful. So what I've tried to do in this session is show you very practical ways in which you can save time, how you can promote all 4 skills using AI with lots of examples, particularly in Japanese. You'll have to let me know whether it did a good job or not with the pronunciation, etc. And last but not least, I thought I would show you this little tool called Notebook LM, which is a tool from Google, and you can upload PDFs, MP3 files, you can add text, and it will then make an AI generated podcast. So I uploaded the PDF of this presentation. I also took the summary from the website, I put it in, and I'm just going to play you a couple of moments of this. And this is completely AI produced. Let's have a listen.
Hey everyone, ready to explore how AI is being used to help people learn Japanese? We're diving into a presentation by Joe Dale. He's a leading expert in using tech for language learning. He presented at the 2024 National Symposium on Japanese language education in Australia.
It really is a fascinating time to be involved in Japanese language education in Australia. So many new teaching methods and technologies are emerging. The theme of the symposium this year was Unleashing Potential, Expanding Boundaries.
Perfect.
Okay, so I'm running out of time a little bit now, but I think you could use that for whole class feedback potentially. There is a hack for getting it to speak in a different language as well. Essentially, you just have to say both speakers can only speak in, for example, Japanese. I haven't tried it in Japanese. I have tried it in French and Spanish, and it does work. But you need to say both presenters will only speak in Japanese, for example, and then it will then hopefully produce that in Japanese. It can be a bit hit and miss. It's designed to be English only, but there are ways around that. Right. I mentioned my Facebook as already. It's got over 5,000 members if you're interested. In addition to that, I'm currently running a 4-part webinar series looking at all these different ideas on listening, speaking, reading, and writing. There's still the possibility of signing up for the whole series if you want and getting the recordings of the first and second sessions, listening and speaking. The reading and writing is going to be on the 18th and the 25th. And I've got different time zones. The one that would be perfect for people in Australia would be 9 o'clock in the morning UK time, which would be in the sort of evening your time. And details are there. And there is the presentation. So I'm more than happy to take a few questions. I think we've got at least 5 minutes. If we go over slightly, then hopefully that would be okay. But I'm more than happy to take a few questions now, and I'll hand back to the organizers. Thank you so much for being such a lovely audience.
Thank you so much, Joe. I think everyone's head's spinning, but they're really feeling enthused about what possibilities are opening up for us in terms of teaching language, and it's a bit of a brave new world for many of us. So thank you very much for that eye-opening keynote. Thank you. Are there any questions? Any questions from the audience? I have a question, if I can ask. I've had colleagues who are very reticent to use AI and feel that it's taking the humanity out of language teaching. What do you say about that?
I think that's a very common question I hear quite a lot. I think that what's important is that we focus on the things that humans can do much better than machines. For example, soft skills like empathy, human intelligence, critical thinking, things like that. I think that humans are much better at that rather than the very sort of mechanistic ways in which AI can help with workload. I think it's a tool. The bottom line is it's a tool. We shouldn't be scared of it. We need to be careful not to put in personal data, but we shouldn't be scared of it. We need to, if you like, or someone like myself needs to allay people's fears, showing people how they can use it in very practical ways. It's not something to be scared of. I think this is a question of confidence, not just in relation to AI, but educational technology in general. I really don't think that AI anytime soon is going to replace any teachers. It's going to be an add-on. It's going to be something which is going to promote agency with teachers and with students. I think a tool like Mizu, for example, that could be accessed on a mobile phone at home, could be used as a great way of building confidence in students, building their speaking repertoire in their own home when they're feeling relaxed, etc. Not in a classroom where maybe they're being embarrassed by their peers or they're nervous about speaking in front of their friends, etc., etc. I think that actually AI is very empowering, but we need to be mindful of the potential risks about data security and things like that. But personally, I mean, I know I would say this, but I would embrace it, but be wary of not putting in personal information. So I would hope that once this has become more mainstream or has become more part of everyone's repertoire, then it will be easier for everyone to assimilate the possibilities, I think, of AI. It all feels very new still for everybody. And but the thing is, it's not going away, and it's going to be, if it hasn't been already, baked into Google Docs, etc., in Microsoft tools, in all these different tools that I've shown you. It's just going to carry on, I think, growing and growing and growing. So it's something that I think that we need to not only embrace for ourselves, but also to equip our students for the new world of AI, really, because we're seeing an AI revolution, in my opinion.
Thank you. Any other questions? We've probably got time for one more question. You've got to use the microphone, sorry.
How child safe is the image generator on Padlet? Because my kids are creative. They don't have to use dirty words or violent words. They'll find a way. So how safe is it?
Okay, that's a great question, and I've actually watched tutorials by people from Padlet about this. And if you go to the YouTube channel for Padlet, there are many webinars that you can watch on this topic, and they are saying that it should not produce content which is inappropriate because of the fact that they've put in guardrails. I mean, I'm sure if you really tried, you probably could produce something which was, racy, let's say, but the idea is that they put in guardrails. In other words, in the code, they've tried to, as much as possible, make sure that if you put in an inappropriate prompt, it will not produce an inappropriate image. I mean, there are image generators out there which might be very, very good, but I wouldn't recommend using with students. Whereas with Padlet, because of the fact it's in this sort of, in my opinion, safe as you can be, a moderated environment, it's designed to be used in education, then I would say it's going to be as safe as possible. But of course, as a teacher, you need to be monitoring the use of it. If you find that there is an issue with images, then get in contact with Padlet and say, look, my student produced this image, etc. But it's also important to think about the fact you can do things like turn on moderation. So you can, with Padlet, you can make it so that the students don't get to see anything live until you've approved it. That's something that I would recommend, for example, for a homework task. In a classroom situation, of course, if you come across an image which is inappropriate. I've never ever seen an inappropriate image in Padlet, I must say. In fact, what can happen is you can get sort of hallucinations where you've got someone with like 6 fingers or an extra leg or things like that. That can certainly happen, but you should not be able to produce inappropriate images using the I can't draw feature in Padlet. But if you do contact Padlet and say, this is what the AI produced, but do check out those video clips on YouTube from the Padlet YouTube channel, because in that they have said that the way in which it's been coded, it shouldn't be producing inappropriate images. But it's a definite concern in text-to-image AI tools in general. But I think the one in I Can't Draw Padlet is one that you certainly could use, and I'm recommending it. I wouldn't recommend it if I felt it was unsafe in any way.
Thank you, Joe. Okay, thank you. I think we've run out of time, so thank you so much, Joe, for staying up so late for a start, and beaming in all the way to Australia. We really appreciate it, and we really appreciate your insight and knowledge. And it's a conversation we're going to have, isn't it, now all the time. Like you say, it's here. We can't pretend it's not here. It's going to impact our work and the way that we use technology in the future. So thank you very much for introducing us to all those ways of using AI. Thank you very much.
Thank you. My pleasure. Thank you so much.
And thank
you,
everyone.
And if you want any more help, join the Facebook group and I can help as much as you would like. Thank you.
Thank you, Joe. And thanks, everyone.